This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is January 26th, 2021. This is show number 195. Well, Nick, earnings, I guess. We're in the midst of earnings season. Is it going to matter? Should we care?
Yeah, we definitely want to care a bit. Really, earnings are really going to start coming out this week. We're going to get Microsoft reporting tonight after the closing bell. You'll also get some other stocks like AMD, Texas Instruments, Xilinx. These are all major parts of the market. So technology, which has led the market higher in 2020, struggling a little bit this year, but it is making new highs. So we have to watch these stocks. Microsoft's a $1 trillion company. It's what we call a mega cap. So these are very, very important names, especially if they turn down after their report or they give us a bigger sell signal. So I think they're very, very important to watch. Later this week, we're going to get earnings from Apple and Facebook. That'll be tomorrow after the close. So this is a big week for the markets as far as earnings are concerned. Overall, what I think you're referring to is, will it turn, all of the markets lower? And it has that possibility. If you do start to see a deterioration in earnings, that could be a catalyst. But there usually is going to be multiple catalysts for when and if things do turn down.
So multiple catalysts, what would they be?
Well, you could get a geopolitical event. You could just get, say, all of these SPACs that are going on right now, these special purpose acquisition companies. Today, I believe Morgan Stanley released a SPAC ETF. So, again, that's frothy in my opinion. When you get, an ETF for SPACs now that's in the marketplace, you want to really be careful in the market. But yeah, there are a lot of different variables, a lot of different things. But ultimately, this is where it comes down to really just watching the chart, seeing what the pattern looks like and what forms after the earnings announcement. And you take it from there. But again, this is just one of many catalysts that could be in play.
Okay, so once everything crashes and all these SPACs really get slammed, which is inevitable, I mean, it's really indicative of a market at or near its peak when you start seeing. We used to call these SPAC companies blank check companies or blind trusts.
Yep.
So now they have a fancier name for them, but the end result's going to be the same thing, isn't it?
I think so. This is now turned into a mania, and all manias end the same way. They go parabolic, they go crazy, and then, when time's up, the plug is pulled and the boat starts to sink. So, I think it's on borrowed time personally. But for now, the time is not up yet. But every day we're getting a little bit closer.
All right. Well, that's interesting. And our precious metal sector has pretty much stayed just going sideways, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Today, if you look at gold, just down $2. Look at the GLD, which is gold ETF. Down 20 cents. Look at the GDX, which is the gold miners ETF, up 20 cents. So I don't think we can make too much out of it. It's just a lot of backing and filling. And that's been the theme for, a few months now.
Yeah, since August 7th when gold hit its peak, right?
That's right. Went parabolic at that point in time. And I said, now we're in for a long consolidation phase. And I actually like what gold is doing, though. This is really healthy. You want to see just sideways action. If it can sustain this type of trading for, several more months, I mean, it could be talking to us for a bigger advance to the upside. So I actually love what gold is doing. I'm a patient person. So, I love watching these patterns form. I know some people say it's like watching paint dry, but to me, it's like watching a Picasso unfolding. So I like everything that gold is doing.
So let's just go back, because I remember, I think it was January 16th or 19th of last year when you said, watch out, the market is headed for a major decline. And are we seeing anything like what we saw back in last January?
I think we have a lot of characteristics right now of a 1999 type market. So yeah, I would be, I'm in caution mode already. I've already entered volatility just to protect myself. I'm still holding a few longs out here. But truth be told, this is a market where everything is fine. It's on the back of central bank intervention, which is I forget what they're printing, $120 billion or they're buying $120 billion a day. I mean, it's just an absurd amount of money that is being printed to buy up equities and bonds and things like that. So, again, when I see things like this and I see the SPAC market going berserk, I see just these parabolic moves like GameStop, this dash for trash. I mean, come on, let's face it. GameStop is worth, $160 yesterday. Today, it's an $80 stock, $88 stock, right? So, again, these are just ridiculous, unsustainable moves. And this is characteristic of what happens when you get near a peak.
Yeah, we actually got an email. Ed P. wrote us. Nick Santiago used the term dash for trash on your podcast today, referring to the craziness going on in the stock market. You want to know how crazy it is? My son called me a short time ago and told me he made $7,700 in a couple of days by buying a stock he did not know what business it was in, did not check the chart, or did no research on it whatsoever. He told me he was watching the market on CNBC and happened to see a ticker symbol, BNGO, on the crawl. At exactly the same time, his granddaughter, my great-granddaughter, was singing the children's song Bingo. On a hunch, he quickly went on his computer and bought 5,000 shares in Bingo. He did sell it too soon, though, as it continued to go up in price. I enjoy and look forward to your podcast every day. When people are buying stocks based on songs they hear on the radio or that your kid is singing, this market's gone a little crazy, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And that's a great email. And thank you for that. But yeah, this is that BNGO is a stock, another SPAC. I mean, this thing was, when it did its little special acquisition over there, it was, basically a 75-cent stock. Now, today it almost went to 14. These are absurd moves. There's so much froth. And what a lot of people don't realize, too, is the amount of secondaries that have taken place, meaning companies raising capital, has been unprecedented. I've seen one company, I can't recall the name of it offhand, but one of my trading members told me they did, 6 secondaries in the last 6 weeks. That's unheard of. And that just shows you how much easy money is out there. And if interest rates crawl up too high, that's going to be probably a negative factor. But there are so many other negatives out here when you see action like this. It's because, it's become almost where speculation is just throwing a dart at the wall. And it reminds me so much of what I've seen, in the late 90s. And quite frankly, what I saw in 2006, 2007.
Yeah, so bingo, that's the buzzword here. That means buy anything as long as it's going up. Momentum playing. So he just got in and he got out, maybe a little too early, but he still made money basically on something that's completely worthless.
Yeah, I mean, this is a mania, and all manias, just go back and everybody should read about the tulip bulbs. And, you could see that things like this have always happened in history, and it's really just repeating itself. It's really unbelievable, but that it still happens, but it does.
Yeah, there's a website called thebubblebubble.com, and it's got the history of every bubble that's ever existed. Might have the name of the site wrong, but the Bubble Bubble, and it really is by a guy named Jess Colombo. He's really probably the best history of bubble person out there. His Twitter is @thebubblebubble, and you can find him from there. Really spot on guy. Always enjoyed his work, and I'll be curious to see how he writes up this bubble, because we are certainly in a bubble. There's no question about it. In any event, go over to inthemoneystocks.com. You'll learn how to capitalize on this bubble for sure. And while you're at it, take a look at the Twitter feeds @ITMS, @NickSantiago01, @Kerry Lutz. Keep sending us those emails to kl@kerrylutz.com. Nick, we will pick up where we left off tomorrow and see what the SPACs will have in store for us then.
Sounds good, Kerry.
And so concludes another episode of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. Be sure to go to his website, inthemoneystocks.com. Don't forget the Twitter feeds @ITMS and @NickSantiago01.